Hungary is a Roman Catholic country, so a lot of people, if they're religious, a lot of them are Catholic. Before the World Wars, that was the case. After World War II, World War I, World War II, they were kind of taken over by the communists, and it was kind of looked down upon to be religious. A lot of people kind of backed away from that. And before that, because of communism, the church wasn't able to send missionaries in there. So in 1990 or 1991, communism left and the church was officially invited to bring missionaries into Hungary. So the church has only been in Hungary for like 25 years, so it's relatively new, relatively small. And it just started out in Budapest. That was the only area, and there was quite a few missionaries just right in Budapest, just trying to start that work. So branches right now, so it started out just with one branch in Budapest, or units, I guess. Right now there are 20-something units, I want to say 23 or 24 units. Most of them are just branches. Right now there's 3 wards in Budapest, and then one other ward in a city called Kecskemét, but all the other ones are just branches. Some of them are pretty close to being wards, which is exciting. But again, it's still, the church is in its youth over in Hungary. It's actually a pretty small mission. The mission boundaries are only Hungary. There isn't a temple there. All the members usually go to Freiburg. Right now the Freiburg temple is closed, and so they were going to Frankfurt, Germany. And that one was closed for a while for renovation. So then their closest one was Bern, Switzerland. So they have to travel quite a bit to go to the temple. It's kind of a sacrifice. They go for a week at a time, but they always have a wonderful experience with that. Again, it's a small mission. We never got above 100 missionaries. In some of the units, there's only 2 missionaries. In some of the units in Budapest, there's 6 or 8. So it just depends on where you are. But it was kind of cool just being in a smaller mission. You get to know the missionaries a lot better. So I loved it. So I served from March 2013 to December 2014, January 2015. And I started off in Pécs in the southwest, very southwest city. And then I went north to Veszprém, and then east to Székesfehérvár, and then all the way over to the east to Békéscsaba. After Békéscsaba, I went back over to the northwest to Tatabánya, and then back over to the east to Miskolc, and then my last area was in Kispest, which is an area of Budapest. So I got to serve in every single zone, which was really cool. Got to see the whole country, and loved each zone, loved each part of Hungary, and I'm grateful for, I'd never had a bad area that I served in. There were areas that were kind of like looked down upon by missionaries, but every area has its kind of silver lining, the awesome part of that area. So it was fun to be able to find out what makes that area so great. So I mentioned how communism was in there, and then right after communism left, Hungary was open to churches, and right then a lot of churches came in, and it was really confusing to a lot of them. A lot of them joined churches that they later left because they realized, oh, I joined this church too quickly, and that's sort of been the history since then. Churches come in and see if Hungary's ready for them. So a lot of times they're just pretty closed off at first. A lot of them have a very strong feel towards their ancestry and towards being Catholic, which is true in a lot of Catholic countries. Preconceived notions about the church, a lot of them have heard of Mormons, but a lot of them are kind of confused about who the Mormons are. A lot of them have heard about polygamy, so they believe that, we're polygamists and that we've never changed. So I've had a lot of discussions about that. A lot of them also think that we are similar to the Amish and that we don't use electricity, that we're very, very old-fashioned. And that comes from a number of sources, a number of random documentaries, old documentaries in Hungary that have mentioned the Mormons with the Amish or whatever. But I also ran into a lot of people that had heard nothing about the Mormons or the LDS Church, and that was really cool to see, or to be able to teach people right from the very start. They're a blank slate as far as the church is concerned.